welcome everybody again to another podcast at OVERTANK.
Hello.
I'm here today with Jamie again.
Hi.
I'm Will, and we have our first guest speaker today, the man himself, Mr. Roberts.
Very interesting man.
Thanks for having me in, boys. Looking forward to discussing a few things with you guys on the podcast.
So we thought, Robert, you would be a great first guest speaker because you have a great interest in like serving the millennial generation and kind of trying to improve our youth. Like,
well, that's it. Well, and I think being a young person as well certainly helped that interest. I think it's obviously good to be interested in your own people and your own kind of culture. And I think in this day and age we live in such an environment where we're sapped and drowned by technology. We don't know how to do the simple things in life. So I guess I've done a bit of research and come together with a few things in terms of how we can resolve issues that are facing our generation and ensure that I guess we can develop. So it kind of relates back to that whole self-growth concept you guys have got going on here as well. So
yeah, because we do see a lot of older people in the population talk about how the younger generation is a bit disenchanted and far away from society. So it's good to see a young person explore those ideas as well.
Well, I think you've certainly summed it up well there. Look, I think in this day and age we do see older people who are quite critical of our generation, Generation Y, if you will. So,
Generation Y. So for those not familiar, what does this term mean?
Sorry, just a bit of banter between Jamie and I in terms of that word. He's not too happy with the use of the phrase, but I think the term Generation Y is
what phrase are you referring to?
Yeah, is often misused. I think when I talk with Generation Y, I think I'm not trying to be demeaning and say we're a generation is just in our own box and shrouded in this technology and we're always on our phones. When I think of Generation Y as the future of our world, our future thinkers, our future players in politics, in media, in a whole range of different areas.
You want to highlight the opportunity of...
And I think what I'm trying to do here is highlight the opportunity, untap that potential within a lot of young people. And I think, the key skills within that relate back to financial literacy, communication skills, and I think understanding how to get a job. A lot of young people, Jamie's laughing because he certainly still has trouble understanding how to get a job.
Excuse me.
With all due respect.
I recently got a job. But
well, I guess what I'm trying to do is,
So it didn't really work.
how we can develop that and really how we can get jobs in a corporate world. I'm not sure if a Kmart casual would fit into that sector, but look,
it's certainly quite.
I guess
hard
I guess what I'm trying to do, is really untap how can you, for example, building a resume, having those interview skills, because it's so easy now to, be on your phone, text someone. We've lost that foresight and that ability to ring someone up on the phone and have those face-to-face conversations, which are really key to development. And I think what I was saying to you boys before off air was that, how can we balance the use of technology as a really important tool for growth in our world with also, traditional skills that are still going to be core to the growth of businesses and self-growth as well. So that's what I've looked at,
Awesome. And so you said before there's some like fundamental skills which you feel like the youth need to not neglect and just work on. So is that like communications and like...
Yeah, so I think the key skills I came up with are certainly communication and collaboration and how we can, stop just being, glued to our phones and afraid to talk to others. And I think this overlaps into a lot of different sectors, primarily financial as well as health and mental well-being and physical health. So, how we can have that hard conversation from a mental health perspective, but also how we can, use our communication skills to manage money and ensure that we're not, running out of cash as a university graduate, for example, because a lot of people are tied down in debt.
There is a lot of talk about what the young people should be doing, what they should be doing to develop themselves, how they should not be on their phones, as you say, but it's good to see someone who's actually taking action.
Well, absolutely, and I think it's not so much about not being on your phones, it's about how can I use my phone.
Just an example.
In a good way. But I think, the key thing is really creating, a learning environment for the young people to thrive. And at the end of the day, a hallmark of our generation, and this isn't so much a negative, it's, Generation Y or, the millennial of today, they love having everything in one space, one easy to access thing. And I think that's a great thing about technology. It can bring, everything together, social media, mediums, and the like. So I think, that's what I'm trying to explore. I'm looking at different business opportunities within that. And I think, the whole goal of what I'm doing is trying to empower, unlock the potential for tomorrow's growth in a lot of ways.
It is kind of a thing. If you tell a young person, or if an older person tells a younger person, what are you doing? Get off your butt. If they describe the younger generation as lazy, disenchanted, they will get annoyed.
Correct.
But it's important to unlock their potential and not patronise them or insult them, but indeed unlock their potential.
And look, I think that concept of lazy is an unfair definition of our generation. I think it's really a generation who just doesn't have the resources, the knowledge, and really the platforms to grow appropriately. As I said, they've been so influenced by social media and different aspects of the technology field that they've lost sight of the important skills and self-growth strategies and that convenience of having it in one place. So I think lazy is an unfair term that's been applied to our generation. I think a more appropriate term would be, almost a generation that, have been unfairly placed in a society where, it's really hard for them to grow. It's not easy when you're living in an environment, as I said, which is just drowned in technology, in a swill of media influence, and in such a competitive working environment as well. People graduating with degrees not knowing where to go because there's 100 others who have the same degree and want a job as well. So I think the key is, pairing young people with corporates and having those older generations within the corporate sector understanding and seeing, these people have potential.
Yeah.
Bridging that gap to a good degree is going to go one way to making sure our generation can thrive in the future.
So I feel like this, as an overview, there's a lot of distractions for our generation. Like, we find it hard to concentrate on and maybe to discipline ourselves to do what we have to do. And so is this something that you're working towards? I understand you've got a new company or business idea that you're looking to take action and boot.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, one aspect of it. How can we prevent those distractions and lack of concentration? And I think a key aspect of that is that intergenerational collaboration. So, often a person in this day and age, in the young people area, they'll kind of just sit and study on their own. They'll lose sight of the importance of collaborating with others, and often that helps when you're all offering different ideas, bubbling around. And I think that's one approach I am, I guess, looking at taking, is bridging that gap between university students across the land. If, say you or I are studying the same degree, how can we collaborate through technology in order to remove those distractions and help stay on task?
I suppose one way to avoid that digital addiction is obviously to seek attention from other people, seek adventure, explore the outdoors, not just to find one avenue of business or one certain structure, but to also find connections and friends outside of your own studies.
Absolutely. So beyond that academic field, so that kind of links to the health and well-being element I've explored, and stress management strategies, stepping away from study and focusing on other things to really balance your academics with your social co-curricular learning as well.
So you have this new thing, right? And so what's the name of your idea, your company?
So I won't give that away on air at this stage because I'm still looking at securing the naming rights on that one.
Okay,
so sorry. Hopefully I can come back next year and I'll be able to say it, and also let you know
very interested,
that hopefully there's a few millennials associated with the site by next year.
We'll want you back on the show to find out one out.
And maybe I can fund a bit of the show with a bit of the profit I make. Fingers crossed. But look, I won't give the name away. All I can say is that that is a work in progress, and basically the aim is to create a web presence for the millennial in one place. Think of, I guess, Facebook, and we're not actually taking the Facebook route in terms of having this mass media influence. I guess the negative thing about Facebook is it's so easily influential on young people in a negative way. Someone reads an article, someone said, someone sends a message or plays a game. It's quite a distraction. What we're trying to do is really focus on learning, collaboration, and growth in an online presence. So a website / learning module.
But you still have a chat bar and allow people to collaborate with each other on.
We're looking at setting up a collaborative bar, but not in a Facebook sense where it's
obviously they've got Facebook and other messaging applications.
Correct.
To use
So
themselves,
we're not here to compete against Facebook. We're actually setting up more of an academic learning self-development website for young people, a base for young people to balance their social media, which is Facebook, and then say, look, I'm going to check my Gen Y today. There'll be opportunities to, hopefully associate with businesses, whether corporate, health and fitness, etc., where it's one place. It might be, oh, look, I'm feeling a bit stressed, so are 10 other people in Perth. Let's catch up for a coffee through this website. They can all create that. Or,
sounds very interesting.
I want to do a group fitness class, but I'm unmotivated. I can do it with 9 other people in the same boat at uni, and that'll be run through a gym, for example.
Yeah,
so
I can relate to that. I think I would actually use that.
Yeah, so it's basically trying to pair young people together and say, let's move forward together and grow into one harmonious generation. Because I think, as I said before, we've got this unfair label that we're disintegrated, shallow technology sap society, generational society. And I think we want to kind of, through the business, as I said, I'll leave the name anonymous at this stage, but through the business, we'll try and bridge that gap and really change the label and really untap the positive trends in young people. It's a really difficult climate for young people to grow up in this day and age. But we are
materialistic as well.
But I think the key is using that online presence, because obviously technology is important. We're not going to sit here and send everyone a booklet that they fill in. Technology is still important, and that's why we're setting it up through a website. But it's a positive self-growth, self-development, and skills booster website. So it might also include Jamie needs a couple of things to work at a particular job. How can he access those skills? Oh, they're right there. So whether that's getting an RSA or whatever, he doesn't have to go search for it. We've paired with someone who can offer that. He clicks on one thing, there it is. Or it might be, I need to learn this.
Job right
exactly.
There.
There's your that's just an example for some part-time work. Or it might be he wants to learn how to build a resume. He's struggling to find a job. We work with a resume builder, a corporate resume builder. You click on the link, they offer discounts through that. So
how do you think that your business will allow young people to bridge the gap between a part-time job and a career that they'll feel fulfilled and proud of?
So I guess that concept of career progression is going to be a core aspect of the business, and that's going to be building up skills and I guess adding a string to your bow through different skills boosters on the site. Bringing in the key skills. You can then say, I've completed, for example, a few modules on the business. There'll be opportunities for internships and employment partnerships with business, because I guess the key is, we want to try and say, look at Generation Y. We've been given this unfair label of lazy and entitled. At the end of the day, to a degree, yes, some of us are that, but it's about how can we change that mould and ensure that businesses want to employ the young people of today.
Because it's a bit of a misconception. I mean, some of us are lazy and entitled, but I don't think that's all of us. I think the large majority of us seek a fulfilled career.
Correct, and I think the large majority, we're just puzzled. we don't know where to go. You know, we'll come home, we'll miss out on a job, and we'll think, why did I miss out on the job? We don't know why. And I think what I've tried to do is, through a bit of research, what I've found is that, you know, there are these key areas to work on in the young people, and that's all they need. They just need it in one easy location for them to be able to explore, learn, and grow. So, yeah, essentially the concept would be registering an account through the business. You know, saying I'm studying this, you know, uni, non-uni, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
tailor-made.
tailors to all young people.
Tailor-made. Yeah.
And just to confirm, what is the age bracket with Generation Y?
Oh, I guess when you're thinking Generation Y, it would be, you know, kind of those late 90s to early 2000s. We're kind of looking at that. You know, 16 to 25-year-olds, pushing up to early 30s. So I guess what the business will be aiming at is kind of those in the university bracket. Currently, there's 1.5 million students enrolled in unis in Australia. So there's certainly quite a wide market to encapsulate, which is quite positive and exciting.
And I guess one of the things is that certain population from the 90s up until now, they have been subject to a lot of mass media and advertising and materialism.
Correct.
And this strategy is something that would address that. I think something that is needed for those people.
Yeah, well, it's almost designed to be a refreshing outlet to, you know, step away and balance your time on Facebook.
But it's not a nannying sort of.
No. It's actually quite the opposite. It's more saying, you know, we want to see you grow individually. We're here to help. So it's an empowering website, and I think part of that is that it's made by young people. You know, as I guess the visionary of the website and the company, I'm a young person. It's different if it was a 55-year-old male in a corporate job saying, you know, Generation Y, or the young people are driving me crazy. I'm going to try and create a website to make them better. I guess that would come a lot as a bit more patronising, but I'm here to help them grow. I want our generation to flourish as much as I do.
Because our sort of generation has been subject to a lot of mass media materialism, how do you think you as an individual have grown out to not be affected by those kinds of things? How have you pushed to make yourself an individual?
Oh, look, I would say I'm still affected by it to a degree. I wouldn't say I'm completely immune to being influenced by mass media. Don't get me wrong, but I think one way for me is balancing my time on Facebook with other things, connecting with individuals in corporate fields, making sure I'm keeping up my health. Really the key things that I'm trying to market to young people, trying to make sure I have an even spread of what I'm looking up, that I've got credible sources that I'm connecting to.
The basics are important. Eating well,
sleeping well. Basically making sure your mind's in shape to deal with it. If you're spending all day on Facebook, going to uni, attending a lecture, what I find is that's
going home and sleeping.
Going home and sleeping, or you know, eating then sleeping, as most of us do. I know I do, that's for sure. But you know, I found that has been quite unproductive and inefficient. And what it does is it becomes more of a cycle. And once you get stuck in that cycle, you're on repeat mode. It's boring, you're lethargic, and you're not going to grow. So I guess my business is trying to pull the young people out of this vicious cycle we found ourselves in, and allow us to go forward and grow. And that's been my key to avoiding that mass media influence.
I think that's awesome. And I think here at OVERTANK we have kind of a similar kind of vision. Like we want to help people take those first steps from breaking free from the almost trap that people can easily fall into, just being swept away by the.
It's unhealthy.
Yeah, by the current.
By the current of influence. Yeah.
And kind of just like being able to because often it does feel like those first few steps are kind of against the current, against the push of society.
Yeah.
Whenever you try to take action and change something about yourself, people will often want to put a foot down and say oh, hang on, what are you doing? You know, no one likes change.
Well, yeah, I think the world is often unkind to change a new talent. To quote a source from Ratatouille, the old Disney movie there, that was one of my favourites as a child. But yeah, I think the world is unkind, as I said,
and I think that's
to people wanting to go against the current.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
I know we're having a laugh about it, but the reality is it's true. And I used to laugh as well at people bucking the system, but I think
you're the one bucking the system.
To a degree, I think it has to be healthy. I mean, it's not to say you've got a uni assignment worth 40% next week, and you say,
Just gonna go on an overseas trip.
Yeah, I'm going to go on an overseas trip and hand it in the next week because I'm bucking the system. That's obviously an example of just sheer stupidity. But what it's really trying to do is say, we're not caught in this, world where we're held in a bucket, where we're boxed into one genre or category.
I find that, and that's the thing. People are very eager to put people in categories. I've found it's like, and they want you to stay there once they put you there. So often a lot of the hard part is just understanding that when there is a little bit of friction, you don't give up at the first sign of resistance. It's about pushing through challenging times, grinding, and but you have to understand, in order to do that, you have to always remember, what is it that's motivating you to do this? Why do you want it?
What is the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah.
So to
have a
speak.
goal, set small goals,
and I think
set big goals.
For us, through this business idea, I think the light at the end of the tunnel is just changing that whole millennial tag. I know I've repeated it a few times, but that's the goal.
I think it's a good goal, and I think it's one that you should pursue and take further. And I think you should take a lot of other people along with you on the way.
Fingers crossed, and hopefully you boys go out and promote it once I kick it off. Hopefully you can get it online soon and start growing it out. But the key is really just to empower the younger generation and really help them go forward, much like OVERTANK is doing from an audio point of view.
It's about that collaboration aspect, I guess.
Correct, collaboration and growth opportunities. Give them an opportunity to get a job, boost their chances by times 10, for example.
I think something I've found that's helpful in boosting your well-being is to get out in the community and help others. It's quite a cliche, obvious one, but I've found that volunteering in the environmental sphere has been quite rewarding.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the business as well. Volunteering opportunities, with NGOs and charities. How can we get more young people involved in those things? Because again, young people are unfortunately motivated by money. That's one thing. That's an important thing. You need to obviously be financially sound, but money doesn't make a man.
Money doesn't make a man. That's right.
Gee, we're using a lot of cliches, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'd like to just quickly, before we wrap it up, just talk a little bit about the idea of commitment. So I feel like you're someone who's pretty committed to this idea of yours, and you're going to pursue it, and I feel like that's what a lot of people lack in their lives, because a lot of people have a lot of ideas, maybe fantastic ideas which could revolutionise the world, but then
they're just ideas if you don't act on them.
They fail to take those
look,
steps.
I've created, even us, Jamie, a multiple I guess mix of ideas.
Business ideas.
Yeah, a mix of different business ideas.
But now you've landed on one that's
Jamie
really
said to
heavy.
me, they're good ideas, and I've kind of thought they're okay. Probably not going to pursue it, but I think with this one, what's motivating me is really, I think there's a market, and this isn't about profit or growth opportunities. As a core, it's helping.
What is it about?
Well, it's about you throw me under the bus. You said I'm trying to earn millions here. It's about empowering a generation. I don't want to be stuck in this mold as a young person. This laziness tag. Sick and tired of it. I want to be able to. I want to be able to. I want to be committed.
You want to be committed, and you want to show
getting
others
a
how
job.
to commit as well.
If I commit to studying a degree, I want to be able to have that. that excitement, that knowledge that I will get a job when I graduate. I want to be able to buy a house by the time I'm 25. You know, I don't want to have to go. I don't want to have to go guarantor, you know, on my parents. I don't have to be stuck in these, you know, financial troughs. So look, that's the idea.
And I guess commitment starts with inspiration.
Commitment doesn't start with laughing. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So you know, reach out if you can't generate commitment within yourself. Reach out to your friends. Reach out to those who you think are role models to you.
That's it. Find pathways to
watch
motivation.
a TED talk.
Yeah.
And
listen to OVERTANK. I think that's one way. But yeah, find a pathway to motivation. That's what my business is hopefully going to try and do. Pair people up, collaborate, lurch off others' ideas, grow.
I think what you just said there, collaboration, I think that's a very vital step in commitment, because once you tell something about one of your ideas, then you've planted that seed in the world, you know?
Exactly.
And so then...
How can you sow the seed?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're only ever going to reap what you sow.
That's it, yeah. So yeah, fingers crossed this can, you know, get off the ground and start helping people. That's the thing, you want to see the benefits to others. A culture where we can, you know, a business culture where we can help others. So yeah.
All right, well, Robert, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Will.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Rob.
Thanks,
Some brilliant ideas there.
Yeah.
And I'm
Been
sure
a pleasure, guys, and
bring a lot of other people along with you.
hopefully I can be back in the studio another time and we can talk about hopefully the business is kicked off by then.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back, mate.
Thanks, fellas.
Awesome. This is OVERTANK Podcast, and we're signing out for this week. See you again next week.